It's Postcard and a Pint, back with another port guide for you. Your cruise ship has washed up in Rhodes Town and you're wondering what there is to see and do. If you have questions such as, is the town far from the ship? What can I see there? Or is the shopping any good? Then sit tight and buckle up, because we've got you covered. If you don't know us, I'm Rachel, he's Wills, and he's a knight. So let's start our day with a sail in and let's explore this lovely town. The sail in to Rhodes Town is peaceful and serene, and you get a fantastic view of the old town and what lies ahead. If you're going on a tour, your buses will be waiting, but the real beauty of this port is that the old town is less than a 5-minute walk away. You leave the port, cross over a road, admire the view, and you're by the ancient walls and the first gate into the old city. But which gate is this one?
We've just entered the ancient city through the Gate of the Virgin, and we're now going to go and check out the Church of the Virgin.
Less than a 7-minute walk from your ship and you're at this incredible ruin. It's one of the largest surviving churches on the island, originally built by the Knights Hospitaller in the 14th century as a 3-sided basilica. Another great thing about Rhodes Town? There are cats. Lots and lots of cats. If you turn right at the basilica, you start to come across the shops and restaurants in the walled town. And as the Knights Hospitaller built the town back in 1309, you'll see a lot of them still hanging around today. But our top tip for Rhodes Town is get up and off your ship as early as you can and head here.
This is the Street of the Knights. It's one of the best preserved medieval streets in Europe.
If you leave this until late morning or afternoon, this street will be packed. It's worth the early start.
This street has 7 inns representing the 7 countries where the Knights of the Order of St. John came from.
France, Aragon, Castile and Leon, Portugal, Italy, Germany and England. Each being responsible for different defence sectors of Rhodes' walls and towers. This was also a processional street, where knights in black or red cloaks marked with a white cross would walk or ride. Imagine this street 600 years ago, lanterns and torches lighting the street by night. It's incredible that so little has changed. At the top of the street, you'll find the Palace of the Grand Masters. For €6, you can visit inside, and it's well worth it, especially before the tours get there.
We're now in the Palace of the Grand Masters, originally built in the 14th century for the Knights of St. John, but we'll tell you a story of why it was rebuilt.
There has been a fortress here since the 7th century. When the knights arrived, they inherited this and expanded it into a Gothic palace, making it the residence of the Grand Master, who ruled the island like a prince. But
in 1856, next door to this was the Church of St. John. Now, unfortunately, this was hit by lightning, which is okay, unless you've got some long abandoned and long forgotten gunpowder in your cellars. What happened, Wills? Boom! Yep, it razed the entire church to the ground and most of the Grand Master's palace was destroyed.
Top tip, don't store your gunpowder near your house.
Somehow, original designs and sketches of both the church and this palace survived. So they rebuilt the church, but they rebuilt it in Mandraki harbour. That was finished in 1925. We're going to check that out later. And this was finally finished in 1940.
This palace surrounds a large courtyard with rooms on 2 levels. The lower floor is a museum space showing the rich archaeological and medieval history of Rhodes. The upper floor contains the most significant halls used for functions and the Grand Master's residence. One of the most famous and visually striking features of this palace are the mosaics. Most of these are ancient Greek and Roman mosaics from the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD. They were brought to Rhodes from the island of Kos and other nearby sites by the Italians between 1912 and 1943, during their occupation of the Dodecanese. During the large restoration of the palace in the 1930s, the Italians installed these mosaics on the palace floors to give it a sense of classical grandeur. We think that €6 is an excellent price for entry to the palace, and as we were early, we had it mostly to ourselves. And as we left, the first coach tours started to arrive, and things started to get busier. There's another cool sight to check out at the top of this hill. Just a short walk away, past this cat, you have a drink, my son, it's a hot day. And past the ruins of the Church of St John, you know, the one where they stored the gunpowder. You get to the Rhodes Tower. It's only about a 5-minute walk. You can climb this tower for great views over the town. There was a cat taking the money, standard. Then we started our journey up the steep wooden steps.
More steps, more climbing. We're in the Rhodes Tower. Apologies, I've just said that wrong. We get a free drink with our ticket. It was €5 to come up. Brilliant views, very steep stairs.
They're very narrow stairs too, so you have to step into alcoves to pass other people. The view from the top is worth all the balancing by windows. You can even see your cruise ship from up here. We will say, by the time you come down, you are more than ready for the cold drink that awaits. Wouldn't you say, Wills?
I tell you what, it's dead hot. We're dripping already. We've just been up the clock tower, as you've seen, and we're going to take a wander down through the old windy streets of Rhodes Town.
To be fair, it was about 35 degrees this day, and after looking in a few shops, it was definitely time to find a place for another cold drink. This will do. There are knight's shields on the walls. There's a cracking view, and we've got a cold drink. Cheers!
Bit of a trip down memory lane at this one. We've stopped for a drink, and we came here when we first came to Rhodes, God knows how long ago. And we came up here for some dinner, and it was really lovely. We're sat in the same seats with the same view, although the big view today is a block of flats called the Virgin Cruise Ship. But nice times.
It's restaurant Castello House, if you'd like to try it out too. Rhodes Town is the place to be if you like shopping, and it's reasonably priced too. As well as shopping for souvenirs such as postcards, key rings and the Greek evil eye, we've always found Rhodes great for art. Shops sell lots of paintings by local artists. Some are of typical Greek scenes and some aren't that great, but if you're willing to browse through, you can pick up a piece of original art for as little as €30. We have a fair few in our house. Rhodes Town does get swelteringly hot in the summer. We were here in August and the temperature was approaching 40 degrees. Our top tip is to head back to the Street of the Knights and visit some of the exhibitions in the old stone buildings. It's lovely and cool in these. It's incredible to think that these buildings were once the home of the Knights of St John. This one told the story of the Knights, where they came from and their crusades and endeavours. Although those were probably candles in the night's time, but you get the idea. After a good cool-off, we made our way into some of the off-the-beaten-track back streets. You won't find many people here, but you'll always find a cat who demands your attention. Hot once again, we made our way back towards the tourist areas and civilization. It was time for another drink, and that's good sound Greek advice. It was also now lunchtime, and we fancied trying some local beer and food. Our restaurant of choice was Saris. If you'd like to find it too, the what 3 words are cashier, artist, organic. It was chicken gyros with tzatziki and a local beer. But which one?
Now the beer brewed in Rhodes is Zithos Vap. Don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but nice. Cool glass. Grrr.
We really enjoyed that meal, but man was it hot. Isn't that right, Persephone? Next on the agenda was to head back to the shops and see if we could find Will's a Christmas decoration. There are a lot of shops to choose from, but this one delivered on all fronts. Natural local honey, chutneys, beer coasters and Christmas decorations. What do you say, Wills?
I wasn't going to leave them there, was I?
They now proudly hang on our travel tree and remind us of Rhodes Town and this beautiful day each year. Next, we wanted to go to Mandraki Harbour, the site where the legendary Colossus of Rhodes once stood. We didn't have an ice cream, which was a mistake as we really overheated later. Always eat your ice cream, kids! You can't miss this square. It's Platia Evreon Martyron. It's full of busy bars and cafes, and at the centre it has the Seahorse Fountain. This is gorgeous to pop your hands in for a few seconds to cool off. We love this building. A proper night cellar. Yep, that's a stellar cellar. But now it's time to leave the old town and head through another of the medieval gates. This is the site that's probably most associated with Rhodes Town. This is Marine Gate, built by the knights in 1478 to connect the harbour to the city. And look, your cruise ship is right over there. It's a very pleasant walk along the seafront outside of the walls. Along the way you'll find boats selling natural sponges and all manner of things made from shells. As you can see, even here it's no more than a 10-minute walk back to the ship. If you keep walking, you come to the Gate of St. Paul. This gate was also built in the 15th century by the knights. It was designed as a military and commercial gate. Its job, to protect the port and ships that brought supplies to the city. There's also a little beach behind it, perfect for a cool-off and a view of your ship. Leaving St. Paul's Gate behind and following the sea, you'll pass the yacht club and then come to Mandraki Harbour. The church of Ivan Yelemos dominates the skyline today. The original we've already seen up by the Palace of the Grand Masters. You know, the one that was destroyed by lightning. This one was built in 1925 by the Italians, based on original drawings. At the mouth of the harbour is where the Colossus of Rhodes is said to have once stood. It was a giant statue of the sun god Helios. It was about 36 metres high and was a symbol of the prosperity and power of Rhodes. Sadly, at this point, I overheated and had to go back to the ship. But do note, this is the area where boat tours go from. It was another bottle of water for me and a walk back to air conditioning, otherwise known as the ship. There was more in Rhodes Town we wanted to show you, but that will just have to wait for another time. We had a ship to get back to. Thankfully, it's only a short walk, and after a lovely cool cabin, a good meal, and of course a restorative glass of wine, I was right as rain and up for a stunning sunset. Cheers. And that's Rhodes Town. We've got to say it's one of our favourite ports in the Med. If you've enjoyed this port guide, then do check out others we've made. We've done Mykonos, Marseille, Harnia, Amsterdam and Civitavecchia. We also have a fair few cruise ship diary vlogs and ship tours, and we're hoping many, many more will follow. We've been Postcards and a Pint. Enjoy your time in Rhodes Town, and cheers.
A woman's in court for beating her husband with a guitar. Judge says to her, first offender. She says, no, first to Gibson, then offender.
Ah.